All right. This thing.
And it's time.
Destiny, why would you associate those concepts with the left? Because when the f do conservatives ever fight for like the downtrodden class or the whatever? What? Usually it feels like historically, I say historically, it feels like they generally fight for entrenched power. That's what it feels like. Maybe before the last like populist bend or whatever.
See what I wrote there on the computer, son? Does the extra bone in black people's ankles help them run faster? Pretty good, huh? But what do you mean? Dad, do black people have an extra bone in their ankles? No, that's stupid. Then why are you asking people that? Well, to make them angry. So, how's the job search going? Really? You don't see how funny this is? I mean, no. You were slightly racist on the internet. Who gives a shit? No, it's not about that. Just wait for it. It'll happen any second now. Dad, we're going to get foreclosed on any sec. Oh, there it is. See, just read that. The question you...
Destiny, I thought they were for less power in government, but alas. Wait, conservatives are for less power in government? What about when they talk about expanding funding for like the military? Or what about when they talk about expanding funding for immigration enforcement? What about when they talk about deporting 10, 20 million people? What about when they talk about expanding funding for things like the border wall or whatever? What about when they talk about banning things like abortion? What about when they talk about banning things like porn?
You have asked is very deeply...
I thought, as in they're not. Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic. Well, I was just being sarcastic, so get fucked, dipshit. Ban him.
Offensive and can be traced back to a myth perpetuated by... Yeah, I'm not reading all of that. The question you have asked is very deeply offensive and can be traced back to a myth perpetuated by... Yeah, I'm not reading all of that. No one does. I'm certainly not going to. How long did it take for them to look up all that shit, you think? How mad do you think they got when they saw that stupid question? It took me 3 seconds to type out. They must have wasted 30 minutes, maybe even an hour of their life, so that they could win an
I can't watch this video. I don't want to watch this. I don't think I can watch this video. Is there anything else we can go for today? What's going on Twitter?
Argument with a person that doesn't really exist. Huh. That is sort of funny. Frightened? You should be. What you have just witnessed has grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry. It has underpinned successful marketing campaigns for Fortune 500 companies, built media empires which have become household names, and one day may, quite possibly, become the end of the internet. In this video, we're going to discuss the trolling industrial complex, the source of civil unrest which is tearing our nation apart and ruining all of your Thanksgiving dinners. Hey! Remember Jake Paul's gay little slap fight with the elderly man? That was very interesting. It obviously wasn't, but everything around it, like the entire reason it happened in the first place, it's a boxing match. But it obviously was not for boxing fans. Boxing fans don't tune into boxing matches because they want to see a specific person that they don't like get their ass whooped. That's what people tune into, like, wrestling for, you know, to watch the bad guy get beat up. But everybody tuned into this match for that reason, and that reason alone. People watched this because they hate Jake Paul, and they wanted to see him lose.
I don't know fuck all about sports, by the way, but I've heard that this is like an issue that kind of plagues boxing, is that like nobody cares about actual boxing anymore. They just like these basically ultra hyped exhibition matches or grudge matches, maybe you say, where basically you just like 9,000% of the attention and the vast majority of the money goes into these like very unathletic boxing matches, and then actual boxers get fuck all for attention because nobody cares anymore.
It had over 108 million viewers.
I'm not contradicting anything he's saying or whatever, but this is apparently a huge
worldwide. Problem. Jake Paul made $40 million in one night because you hate him, because you can't help yourself. And you know what really fascinated me about the whole thing? It was Jake Paul's entrance. It was straight out of the WWE.
What the
We live in frustrating times, where a myriad of special interest groups control our media, and also keep parking a van outside my house. In this modern age...
Majority of boxing isn't this. The biggest boxer in the world was still Canelo, for example. Yeah, sure, but like if I were to look up like Canelo lifetime, I don't even know what this is, earnings for boxing, what is it? Holy fuck. Did that say 40 million in one fight? Okay, but damn, maybe these guys are fucking rich. Okay, never mind. Fuck boxing then. They're good.
It's difficult to ascertain whether or not Logan Paul did skin a puppy on a live stream, or if this is mere slander spread by Bangladeshi lobbyist groups. With Straight Arrow News, you can get to the truth. I love how many of their news stories are accompanied by a breakdown of bias, so you can see which outlets are or are not reporting on what stories. As a registered centrist, this is something I desperately needed. I particularly love this section. It's called Media Miss. There you can see stories that partisan outlets are not reporting on. Finally, my dream of a centrist revolution draws ever closer. Have you read any centrist theory? You know that old saying, the best things in life are free? Well, that applies to Straight Arrow News. That saying was originally created to describe the website, in fact. You can visit Straight Arrow News through the link in my description or by going to san.com/peach. When you visit, you not only support me, you're also supporting a group of journalists that are raising the bar on news and focusing on serving you the truth. Thank you, Straight Arrow News, for sponsoring this fever dream. Before we continue, we must define what trolling is. Trolling is not just being mean on the internet. It doesn't mean being a jerk. It doesn't mean arguing. The term actually comes from phishing. It has nothing to do with...
Oh, he's going to give the right definition of trolling, which irritates me because now trolling is just bullying people. Trolling is when you intentionally drop an opinion that you know is dog shit because you know it's going to rile the fuck up out of people, but you know it's a stupid fucking opinion. That's the whole point of trolling.
Those fucking bridge gremlins.
The problem is a lot of the pundits are trolling, but the followers are unironically retarded is the issue.
The fuck? With trolling fishing, you put the bait on the line and you drag it behind your boat. This is what trolling is. You put out bait in the form of something that someone just has to respond to. Something that makes them angry, yes, but in a way which forces a response. The goal is to get under their skin, make them angry, and then make them reply. Then, you jerk them around a little. Andrew Tate needs no introduction anymore. However, my fiancée watches my videos and she is too pure for this world. I've seen her Twitter. It's just otters and parakeets wearing sombreros. It's adorable. So here's a brief explanation. Andrew Tate says incendiary, misogynistic shit on the internet. He sells a certain lifestyle to his probably underage and definitely Indian audience. Fast cars, girls, fancy clothes worn exclusively below the waist, that sort of thing. While I'm about to get into the performance of Andrew Tate.
I feel like I'm going to have some fucking breakthrough moment where I'm going to become like a crazy schizophrenic person who thinks they've like solved the entire world. Because I feel like as I get older, there are so many different like what I thought were unconnected or disconnected things or unrelated things that are actually like so connected to each other. I've said before that one of the things that induces the most amount of like rage in a relationship isn't somebody who necessarily hates you, but it's somebody who's indifferent to you. Like if you're mega obsessed with a person, you go to fight with them and they fight with you, then you fight. But if you go to fight with them and they're indifferent, they don't care, then you want to like kill them because you want to make them care. There's a lot of parallels to that type of back and forth to content creation for media that like, I don't want somebody to, or like, I'd rather have somebody hate me than not think about me, basically. So like he's going to say that the solution is you should just ignore these people and not get super ass pain every time they see something that's like clearly and obviously inflammatory, you know?
Tate, the character which he does play, and make no mistake, it is a character.
I'm so smart. I operate on so many levels higher than the average man. You people are not thinking.
I should clarify that he does suck. Not to sound lib-hearted or nothing, but sex trafficking is bad. Behind the character, he's not a good guy, you know. All the same, Andrew Tate did not start out his internet presence in this way. His first big tweet was, "Never seen Star Wars. None of them. Never will. OMG, you're missing out, maybe. You're missing out on being a multi-millionaire. Keep your movie."
Like when he says things like, if you're not like, I don't know if Sneeko like is trolling or if he's retarded though. I can't tell where he fell into it. Like when he tweets out shit or they say shit like, if you're not a multi-millionaire by the time you're 22, you should kill yourself. Like it's obviously it's hyperbolic troll shit to like piss people off, get them to engage.
This went viral. An entire Drew Gooden video was made about it.
No, I don't think that's right.
It's easy to see why. It attacks a large and passionate group, and then makes an insane assertion, opening up Tate to easy attacks from that same group. These attacks will raise engagement and ensure virality. It really is crazy how far back this tweet was. It was a year before the pandemic, long before anyone knew who the fuck this guy was. I liked wrestling a lot as a kid. In wrestling, there's a term which you probably know. The heel. Wrestling, being essentially a soap opera with slightly more sexual tension, is all about the drama. The storylines which build up to these big events. The heel is the bad guy, the mustache-twirling villain who exists to either beat up the good guy and make the audience mad, or get beat up by the good guy and make the audience happy. Andrew Tate, the character, is a heel. I'm not suggesting that he doesn't, on some level, believe the things he says. I'm not suggesting he's hiding a gender studies degree in his...
I don't know if this ever changed in esports because I just don't know. But one of the issues that people had in esports initially, I don't know if it got solved for, is there was a huge debate a long time ago over should esports have entertaining players or should it have the world's best players? So people like Thorin would represent the side of like, it just needs to be the world's best. And people like me would say things like, well, actually, I think having like entertaining players is more important. Because one of the big issues that happened early on in esports is you'd have these like incredibly entertaining Westerners. I'm thinking like way back on the StarCraft 2 days, where you had like autistic shit-talking people like Idra and Naniwa. And then I'm thinking in the early league days where you got to watch like, you know, matches between like CLG and TSM. And slowly over time, as the prize pools got bigger and the leagues got more official and like more and more Koreans were kind of like drafted into play, you ended up with these like stories where you had like these very personable, very accessible, like highly visible Westerners who like seemed human, everybody relate to him, like, oh shit, like, you know, what did George say about, you know, Hotshot GG was talking shit about Dyrus and blah, 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 to like, super godlike Korean player number 47, you know, is on this team, and like, they don't say or do anything, and it's, you know, I don't know where esports ever ended up on that, but this is always like a huge back and forth between like what should be valued more. And yeah.
Heel. I'm not suggesting that he doesn't, on some level, believe the things he says. I'm not suggesting he's hiding a gender
Oh, but I will say that, like, in my very uneducated opinion, these star figures, and obviously I'm on the streamer side of things because I picked that over pro gaming. I'm on the streamer side of things, so I'm obviously biased towards entertainment. But I would say, personally, I think that the entertaining people, I think, are literally the people that elevate sports into things that people give a fuck about. Unless it's like a sport that's so entrenched in culture that maybe it can survive. Because when you look at things, like, I'm so curious, I'm making like a graph, maybe I could be wrong, but like I feel like there are so many white people in the United States. No, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Just people in general that didn't know anything about golf, because like black people about golf, until Tiger Woods showed up. And then all of a sudden, like, everybody had an opinion about golf. It was like the most exciting thing in the world to go and watch Tiger Woods do another thing. But Tiger Woods said, like, he wasn't just good, I think he was like entertaining as well to watch. And then like, even more overtly, people like Ronda Rousey, I think I might pronounce her name right, Conor McGregor. You get these like figures that are just like, they talk a lot of shit. They're incredibly rambunctious. They have like these huge like personalities that take up rooms. Like you're, you know, like even like Mike Tyson, like all these people, like this. It's important to have these like really, you know, these like bombastic figures, because like people watch them because they want them to lose. They're excited to see what's going on. It's like more exciting than just watching like people that are just good at the game, I guess. Yeah, but I feel like they're really important.
Studies degree in his tiny shorts. Let's acknowledge the other side of the Andrew Tate character. The entire reason the character works in the first place. Drew Gooden made a video on this tweet, as I said. He took that sweet, sweet bait, but that was only the beginning. There have been endless videos about Andrew Tate since he honed his character to a fine edge, all of which made the makers of these videos money. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with Drew Gooden, you know, it's good bait, a harmless response video, whatever. I do, however, take a lot of issue with Drew Gooden's video where he said that Kosovo was not rightful Serbian land, but hey, the media has an anti-Serbian bias, what else is new? Did you know we shot down a plane once, you Now, the BBC reporting on Tate's recent legal issues, for example, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's news. But if you're making a video about how Andrew Tate is a big, mean man, then you're doing exactly what he fucking wants.
You people are not thinking.
Making you either an idiot or someone that just doesn't give a shit and is just willfully profiting off of this, spreading his message, playing directly into his hands for whatever pittance you're getting paid.
The fact that you know him, that you've already passed judgment on him, means he's already won. He tops the popularity contest that is online e-celebrity through his infamy.
I suspect most people just love making long videos about how they're morally superior to the Romanian sex trafficker. Wow, when you put it like that, it sounds like a massive waste of everyone's fucking time, doesn't it? You're a better person than the Romanian sex trafficker. Recently, CoffeeZilla covered Andrew Tate's crypto scam. Wow, I can't believe the investment the Romanian sex trafficker told me about wasn't legitimate. Listen, I don't feel bad when someone that isn't elderly gets scammed by a crypto coin. I've played the meme stock game, actually made a little bit of money on Bed Bath & Beyond, so that was pretty nice. When you buy Tate's daddy coin, you know that shit's gonna crater.
What?
But you think you're gonna luck out and leave someone else holding the bags. I sold that Bed Bath & Beyond stock for $25 a fucking share, and that shit was bankrupt 2 months later. I robbed whoever bought that shit. But we both knew what was going on. We both knew the game that was being played. But back to the CoffeeZilla video. Compared to, say, making a long-winded, morally righteous video about how Andrew Tate is a bad guy, like, this is nothing. It's a scam. He explains how it's a scam. He talks about how Tate used to disparage crypto, whatever. But my god, the 1,000 fucking videos talking about CoffeeZilla, talking about Andrew Tate, talking about crypto. This is an industry, an entire food chain surrounding a fucking troll who posts bait. And what I struggle with understanding is what part of the food chain knows what's happening. Clearly the audience...
Yeah.
Fortunately, in this metaphor, the bottom feeders, I'm sorry, guys. Clearly, the audience doesn't get it. You cannot beat Andrew Tate if you're talking about him. You do not beat the heel when you drop down from the top of the cage and body slam him. That's why he's there. That's his whole point. But of course, what does Tate get out of this? He gets marketing. Insane amounts of marketing. A level of marketing that you really cannot pay for. I see his name on the internet more than I see Fortune 500 companies' names on the internet. And you may say, you know, it's bad publicity. And, you know, I do believe there is such a thing as bad publicity. But the fact is that a big part of his appeal to his fan base, the people that buy all this shit, they love that he's this whipping boy for anyone with a modicum of decency. They love that you hate him. That is his entire appeal. When I was 14 and liked South Park, the church moms in my neighborhood hating it made me like it all the more. Tate's primary audience is edgy 14-year-olds. You do not win them over by appealing to their sense of decency. They probably have tried fucking half the furniture in their house. This Sunday, 2 internet people complain at each other, live from YouTube Stadium. Alright, this is the part of the video that actually might get me in trouble, but I'm pretty sure this cultural moment has passed.
Butters remakes Snape casting news is a great sign for the HBO show.
I implore you to remember the types of videos I make. I've made over 100. I've been doing this for almost half a decade now. They range from movie discussion to game discussion to satirical news stuff to shitposts to, of course, my bread and butter, the unhinged history videos. When Disney cast a black person as the Little Mermaid, that was bait. Do I have a problem with it? Well, absolutely not. I don't care about The Little Mermaid. But I want you to consider the marketing they got from this. The endless reactions to the news, and then reactions to the reactions. Disney does not do things lightly. And while sure, I bet a great many young black women were inspired by this story of... I have no idea what The Little Mermaid is about. I did not watch Disney movies as a kid. I watched wrestling and South Park and ISIS execution videos. But you see, I'm in a sketchy place now here. What then, is casting a black, gay, or front-hold person in any role bait? Just because at Mein Kampf Uwu on X got mad, does that mean a casting choice is nothing more than a marketing stunt? No, I am progressive. I do remember Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech where he said that he had a dream that there'd one day be an Asian in Star Wars, and I'm happy to see that we have achieved his lofty goals. Left-wing casting bait.
Wait, MLK, wait, I thought it was Star Trek.
Very elegant in this way. By merely acknowledging what they're doing, you look like a dick. It's almost a dare. This is who they cast as Juliet in a recent stage production. Do you have something to say, you piece of sh**? Some bait is so obvious, I simply cannot see how you can perceive it as anything else.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
As a proud black Israelite, I cannot wait for the Black Moses documentary and later Yaqub spin-off. Anyway, the point I'm trying to illustrate here is that the reaction is the marketing. Media companies are sharks, and the based YouTubers and Twitter mouth breathers are those weird fish that attach to them and eat dead skin. They have a mutually beneficial relationship. Entertainment companies hire sexual and racial minorities in certain roles that were formerly occupied by mostly redheads for some fucking reason in order to bait right-wingers into giving them massive
Can you imagine if Republicans, conservatives like neo-Nazis, the conservative neo-Nazi people, they should just like create movies that like troll the fuck out of like the perceived powers that be. So in their mind, Jewish people run Hollywood and they're just like trying to undermine white people and everything. Conservatives should stop, like the neo-Nazi conservatives, like should start making movies about like, you know, the crucifixion of Jesus, but like every single Jew is like a trans black person, just to like see like, oh yeah, what are you guys gonna do? Can't cast these people? Are the Jews gonna complain now? You're gonna show your hand? I would be here for that movie industry, okay?
amounts of free publicity. Do you think that these companies haven't...
The telling of the story, Jesus goes into the table and he sees the HRT scattered all over and everybody injecting themselves with fucking estrogen. He spills the tables. Not in my house. Not in God's house.
This is what happens. Massive media companies put women, minorities on the hook at the end of a line so that the biggest dicks on the internet can tear them apart. And I'm the
They can cast like fucking Sylvester Stallone as Jesus.
And minorities on the hook at the end of a line so that the biggest dicks on the internet can tear them apart. And I'm the bad guy for saying they deserve better. Well, Mrs. Black Woman, I'm pleased to say that we've got just the role for you. A role in which you fight for your rights against tyrannical oppressors. You are going to inspire so many young women. Wow, that's great. Am I going to play a great black artist who
Do you agree that it is intentional? I just find it hard to see people actually planning for outrage like this in general. I mean, you know it's going to stir some shit up. Now, what does it mean when you say it's intentional? I mean, I doubt you're doing it literally just to like, oh, I'm going to do this just to piss people off, right? Like, you know that it's going to cause a reaction, of course. But like, hopefully it's like also aimed at like some greater good that you have personal stake in or whatever. I do think sometimes it's really irresponsible, but other times it's like it's acceptable to cause some type of outrage. You're like making a statement a little bit, right? But I will say that I think there are times when it's super unacceptable. I'm reminded of, am I making this up? Was Twitch was it Twitch when they did like a day celebrating girl gamers or whatever, and they posted like 5 girl streamers and all of them were trans women, and it was like, what are you guys doing? Like, it's not even so much that Jesus Christ, but it's also that like you understand that all 5 trans women that you put up on this, you're literally setting up for a lifetime of harassment. Like, this is the most like insane bait. This is the craziest troll I've ever seen. Bait used to be believable.
persevere through horrible
Wait, was that Riot Games? Maybe that was Riot.
prejudice like Ella Fitzgerald, or a civil rights activist like Rosa Parks, or Queen Boudica.
Oh.
You are going to say that we've got just the role for you. A role in which you fight for your rights against tyrannical oppressors. You are going to inspire so many young women. Wow, that's great. Am I going to play a great black artist who persevered through horrible prejudice like Ella Fitzgerald, or a civil rights activist like Rosa Parks, or Queen Boudica? Boudica? A Celtic queen who led an uprising against her Roman oppressors. You know, I don't know if this will actually be good for my career. Oh, but you haven't even heard the tagline we're going to put on the poster. Slay Queen. Anyway, I suggest you move to a highly secure area. This is a game that everyone all over the world is playing now, from Fortune 500 companies to influencers. And when you get mad at some dumb bullshit on your phone, you lose the game. You let the marketing companies and influencers win, because I have been a troll for the love of the game for a very long time. I know the rule It is the only way to win the game. You do not win by hitting the heel. They want to be review bombed. They want you to make videos about them. They want you to share screenshots of their stupid fucking tweets. Here's how you win the game and make the troll mad. You win by not caring. The rule with trolling is that the first person to care loses. Feel the bait wash over you. Feel it roll off your back.
Now, while this is kind of true, well, no, this was definitely true like 15 years ago. The issue right now is that the epic trolls are embedded at every level of society, and half of society believes the trolling. That's the issue. The issue is that a troll is whatever. You ignore the troll, but you have to tell your friend that the guy is trolling, right? It's one thing for a guy to post online, like, you know that we never went to the moon, right? Because if we did, we would have discovered ancient hieroglyphics showing that trans people aren't real. And it's one thing if like a retard online says, okay, this is obviously bait. It's another thing when your friend the next day says, hey, do you ever wonder why we haven't found hieroglyphics on the moon saying trans people aren't real yet? That's like, you can't ignore the troll at that point, because now the troll is like, your friend's like, okay, well, fuck. And you can't tell your friend to ignore the troll because they don't know the person's trolling. So now you're like, it's more mindfucky at this point.
Like rain rolling.
Also, I would say that there is a subtle difference. The point, well, you have to be really careful what you call trolling here too, actually. Actually, I think I might take an issue with the video author comparing the Disney thing to the Andrew Tate thing. Because it's one thing to troll for attention, to get people to talk about you. It's another thing to troll or bait for social change. And I don't, but even for the Tates, Andrew Tate did some things that was for trolling and attention, right? Like this,
Would you rather have sex with a transsexual, which is a legitimate 10, or a woman, which is a legitimate 1? And everyone's sitting there clicking woman, 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 because they think they're going to be gay if they do anything else. But they're not actually thinking about the question. I am so smart. I operate on so many levels higher than the average man. You people are not thinking about the question. When I say a 1 and a 10, I mean Megan Fox with a dick. That's the tranny. Or Hulk Hogan with a pussy. That's the girl. This is the question I'm asking. Megan Fox or Hulk Hogan? So you're thinking, well, I don't want to be gay, so I just clicked the girl, the number 1, did it? You're gonna fuck Hulk Hogan? Okay, there's a pussy, but he's got mustache and muscles and shit. He's all hairy, big dude, 6'5". It's pretty gay to me. That sounds pretty gay. I don't care if it's a pussy. That is gay. Whereas Megan Fox, okay, he's got a dick, but maybe you can like scoot it out the way. I'm still Megan Fox. You know what I'm saying? At least she's small and shit. You can get your hand around her neck, mess her up. You ain't messing up Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's gonna mess you up. So this is the question I'm asking. You need to operate on a higher plane. Think about this. This is important. This is cultural. This affects the world we now live in. What is straight? What is gay? It's all a big sliding spectrum, isn't it? Because if you're gonna sit here and go, oh no, it's gay to bang Megan Fox with a dick, I counter that argument. It's gay to bang Hulk Hogan with a pussy.
Like this is like troll shit, and then people will like post or repost something like, oh, this guy actually fucking likes anime women, or he likes fucking whatever. Like, but it's just to get people to speak about things. But the bigger issue is like when you get it's complicated with Andrew Tate too, though, because like part of it was used to like mask what were probably actual crimes, or probably not the best political opinions, and sometimes people fall for the bait. But they don't fall for the bait in that it makes them mad. They fall for the bait in that they believe it. And I don't even know if trolls, it's not the same kind of trolling. Like when I come in and I troll and I say something like what I said about MLK, right? He didn't talk about Star Wars, he talked about Star Trek, right? Obviously that's like it's a troll, right? What? Star Trek wasn't even out yet. What are you talking about? That was retarded. But like if I say shit like that and my audience is going around, like letter from a Birmingham prison, you understand that that was literally inspired by the Star Trek Enterprise, right? And like my fans would believe, well, is that really a troll at this point? I'm not really trolling. I'm just like lying in semi-outrageous ways when my audience actually believes it. Like it gets more difficult to peel those apart, especially when you're operating at all these levels of irony and satire all at the same time, you know?
Off the back of a frog in the rainforest. Imagine the inadequacy of their genitals. They have...
Name the main ship in the Enterprise. Name the main ship in... Isn't it the fucking Millennium Falcon? Like, that was a good troll. Is it not the USS Enterprise? I don't fucking know. That was my assumption. Isn't it? Is that not it? I don't know. Fuck, is this a random boat? What is name of ship in Star Trek Enterprise? Enterprise, usually referred to as Starship Enterprise. It's the name of several fictional spacecraft. Whatever, close enough, fuck you.
Have small penises and wide-set vaginas. That is the source of their anger. But your genitals are perfect. Congratulations, by the way. My personal favorite is that podcast that gets a room full of OnlyFans girls together, and the girls all say horrible, horrible shit, so that lonely young men will pay...
Wait a second. Hold on. A little bit? Definitely related, at least.
They get a room full of OnlyFans girls together, and the girls all say horrible, horrible shit, so that lonely young men will pay $10.99 a month to watch them get hate-fucked on their OnlyFans. We are a profoundly sick society, do you understand? Alright, I've got one more. This is one that's the entire reason I'm making this video, because it's killing me. It's sucking out my fucking life force. A key ingredient to good bait is leaving a wide-open angle for attack. You want to bait a leftist, well, you need to give them an easy response, which makes them feel morally superior and intellectually superior. They love that shit. If you want to bait a right-winger, you need to give them an easy open angle of attack, which makes them feel strong and or pragmatic. They love feeling like strong, powerful, salt-of-the-earth farmer types, as they sit behind their fucking keyboards. There's this guy on TikTok who I keep seeing. I don't have a TikTok. He's breached containment. He eats in front of a camera, and he dunks on liberals. As you can probably imagine, I don't follow anything partisan on the internet. There's no reason I should be seeing this shit. But I keep seeing it anyway. Because he's the master, the platonic ideal of this modern strain of trolling marketing. He manages to both appeal to his audience of conservatives, while leaving himself wide open for easy leftist retorts, which, as I said, make them feel so morally and intellectually superior. He's almost always eating in these. Sometimes he's just doing, something, but it's...
So, the issue with these... I understand what DJ Peach Cobbler is saying. I understand what he's saying. But people are actually believing this. That's the issue. The issue isn't just that he's trolling liberals. It's that conservatives probably believe it and think that what he's saying is real and true and based.
It's usually eating. It helps him affect this air of casualness, despite...
Although, maybe. I haven't actually seen his content, to be fair, so maybe I shouldn't pass judgment. But
the fact that this is obviously a highly choreographed formula. It's like he's barely trying. He's burning libs, just going about his day.
She actually made that shot, by the way.
It's like if Pinochet was making a tasty Cobb salad as he threw dudes from helicopters. It adds insult to the injury. Furthermore, he's always in public, and often even in crowded public places, to further drive home that he is not ashamed of his beliefs. He's proud of them, and they are popular. I just could not figure out, who...
Jackson Hinkle? He kind of looks like it, right?
Who he is? Who he really is. The man behind the bait. Is he just pure algorithm? Did he spawn from code like Uruk-hai from the fucking mud?
I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car, so when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them a fake $5 bill, so I feel good about myself, they feel good, and then, when they go to use it, they get arrested, so I'm actually helping clean up the community.
Oh my god, he's good. Yeah, I was genuinely considering this possibility, that he was an AI construct. Anyway, turns out he was personally involved in January 6th.
And another firing.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh! Okay, well, yeah, I guess this is full circle. That's the problem.
Trump's longtime personal aide, John McEntee, is out of his job. A source says McEntee was fired because he is under investigation for serious issues related to gambling and taxes.
Honestly, I suspect there was something up with his expense account, maybe. So it says here you eat 20 lunches a day on your work trips? Yes. In what world is that reasonable? Well, I had to destroy the libs. This man is a fucking genius. He started a conservative dating app with money that he pulled from Peter Thiel's slimy tentacles. He went on a conservative think tank's podcast where he talked about how to go viral on TikTok. He would certainly know. Of course, I watched the whole thing. And he just promotes the goddamn dating app the whole time. In the 10-minute conversation with the Lincoln Project, he devotes all but 45 seconds of it to his fucking dating app. A vast majority of his sick lib lunch burns comes from the official dating app's TikTok account. He's marketing his stupid fucking app. Surely, liberals aren't helping him market his stupid...
Money should probably let Project 2025's John McEntee know that according to the latest state-of-the-art...
It's fucking bait. He posts bait. As far as I can tell, he's still pretty cozy with Trump. I've been living with this sheer dread that I'm going to read a news story that he's going to be secretary of something. He has retained influence and financial success for the past 4 years because, one, he convinced that slime.
Just as a heads up, I need to message my friends for this. If Elon Musk is actually Speaker of the House, okay, and I'm like not streaming anymore, somebody needs to call a wellness check on me because I might actually just fucking jump, okay? If that actually, I don't think it'll happen, but if that were to happen, it's all ogre boys.
Me fuck to give him money, and two, he posts excellent bait. Go look at the comment sections on his stupid fucking TikToks. God, that you sure got him with that. Oh wow, that's a really good one. Wow, you're helping. Next time you see something on the internet that makes you angry, before you comment or reply or share or even continue to look at it, because of course the more you look at it, the more the algorithms will show it to you. Just imagine this. Just imagine giving the person that made that thing that's pissing you off $1. Hell, imagine giving them $40 million. All right, I've addressed the sausage factory, showing how the pig eyelids are liquefied and turned into a delectable meat paste. But let's consider the consumer experience. How this affects you, person who cannot stop taking the fucking bait. And it does not matter, by the way, what side of the culture war you've decided to build your blanket fort. I'm asking you to stop caring, to stop acting like you're doing activism when you take bait, to stop acting like you're fighting the good fight when you post a super epic response tweet or comment or make a far too long video. You're doing what they want. Behind Tate is his myriad grifts, mainly that Hustlers University thing.
And there's like this meta bait where people like engage in almost like troll bait, but over stuff that's not, like, I'm thinking of the people that, like, am I getting baited when Hassan calls me a pedophile? But like, he makes it seem like I'm baiting with my content, but Hassan is just baiting. So is he baiting me by lying about me and making me seem like bait? But then all of his audience believes it, and so then it's not bait. Like the guy that I spoke to today, what was that guy saying that, what did he think my position was? It was just like crazy. Or that dipshit in chat earlier was like, Destiny, do you think it's good that all these people are dying from preventable illness? Like, what even is that question? I don't think that guy was baiting or trolling, but like, that's why I usually ask people, I'll restate the question, like, hold on. Do you think that I think it's good that people are dying of preventable illness? Like, who would ever have that position in society? Who would ever have that position? Nobody would really, truly. I think I asked a question like this to the guy. Fuck, what was it over? Like, what do you think I think about something? Like, do you think I think that's a good thing?
These objectively stupid casting choices is a movie or show or whatever the fuck that you're
Doesn't bait imply that the person does not actually believe what they're saying? Well, like Hassan doesn't. The reason why I think some of them know is because they is because of the way that they navigate. So like for Tim Pool, like when people have very selective knowledge on things, and it's difficult to imagine how they would have had that selective knowledge. However, but then they like don't know stuff that's like so much like shallower. I don't know how to explain this. There's ways you could tell with the way that people start talking where it's like, hold on, this must have been bait. Like, how the fuck did you even know this or whatever? You know what, actually? I'll show you the perfect example of bait. Oh my God. The cinema moment would be I put my waist screen on, I just turn off my stream. That would have been the best bait. That would have been pure cinema.
Listen to.
This is the best example of bait. Is calling me 500 different variations on my name throughout this fucking debate to trigger me.
100 people.
That's a good point. No, it's a good point.
And on that, on that brief moment of agreement, let's just take a quick pause. We need a smoke break. We need a water break. We need a bathroom break.
Take down Gaza is not a genocide.
Defeat Russia is a genocidal
What does
statement.
take down Gaza
When we went to war with Iraq and we wanted to destroy Iraq, that was a genocidal statement. There's a reason why genocide is such an importantly guarded concept, and it's not to condemn every nation that goes to war. Wait, you did?
Because he thought the cameras were off, right? This is bait, but it worked. It worked because he's baiting. Because all these people believe that. It's just like so stupid. Like this is a troll. The whole thing is a troll because he thinks because we're on break and the cameras are off.
Guarded concept, and it's not to condemn every nation that goes to war. Wait, you do know how to pronounce my name. Are you mispronouncing it intentionally?
Yeah, he made you into an Italian all the time.
marketing for them when you talk about the casting choices. Behind this fuckface is his stupid app, and behind these OnlyFans girls is, well, their behinds. That'll be $10, please. You're boxing shadows on the wall of the cave. You are tilting at windmills. You are a battery powering a machine that's torturing you for money. None of this is real.
I just want to thank the people that leave hateful comments such as this, because it has helped me finance this wonderful vacation.
Everyone on Earth knows wrestling is fake. It seems like people are still struggling to wise up to this shit. I know this is not some independent discovery. People have been slowly talking about this more and more, but my God, it's got to change faster. I'm sick of this bullshit. Now, before you comment that I need to touch grass, I do go outside. Okay? I read books too. Like, I do things. I don't just scroll. If anything, this shit is keeping me from scrolling more, so I guess there are some benefits to it. Anyway, Lord knows I'm going on a walk after this shit uploads, and I suggest you join me. In spirit, I mean. Do not touch me. Anyway, this is yet another scream into the abyss. It's been a rough year, and I'm trying to get the bile out. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And don't bite the fucking bait.
What is this? Oh boy.
At this point, Destiny still has not, there's been no clash. Wheelwright's sitting there doing his best to try to have a debate, and Destiny didn't even show up yet. And so now the host intervenes again and specifically says, okay, Destiny, what about this distinction between the supply side and the demand side? And you saw what Destiny's answer was. So yeah, I don't actually buy into that the Republicans are touting supply side economics. It's funny he says that, because you know who I did recently hear, when I say recently, I mean like within the last 10 minutes, say the Republicans were still advancing supply side, was
Destiny, yeah.
Destiny in his opening statement.
Based.
All right, so again, it's not just that he isn't saying anything, it's he's somehow managing to not say anything and contradict himself within the course of 10 minutes. So again, I'm at a loss as to why I should just be in awe of this guy's debating acumen.
Okay.
Welcome to InFi, the future of finance.
InFi. Oh my God, look at this AI
Everybody, welcome back
generated.
to the InFi podcast. Today I am going solo, but in a sense, it'll be like there's other people in the room. Because what I'm going to do is step through a recent debate between Tom Wheelwright, who is accountant for Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad author. And Tom is a very well-known author and public speaker, besides doing accounting work for his clients. And he's real big on tax planning and so on. And he's a very market-oriented kind of guy, supply side economics. You know, that's his worldview, very much.
Okay.
Hey, the government should stop getting in the way of entrepreneurs who are out there creating value, providing employment, that sort of thing. So he's debating against Destiny, who I am told was the OG streamer. I believe he was like one of the first guys to record himself playing video games and then streaming it, but talking while he was playing. And for some reason now he does the circuit like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson debate him. Like we'll have him on their show in order to throw down with him. And so recently a guy I follow had posted how, here I am talking to Destiny about atheism or something. And I just chimed in and said, Alex, I follow you. And I respect it. I disagree with this guy, Alex, but on his theological views, but I respect you as a deep thinker and a very thoughtful person. I have never seen a clip from Destiny that I thought was impressive. Can somebody explain to me why is he doing all these circuits and whatever? And then a bunch of Destiny's fans piled in telling me because he's a really good debater. And so I said, okay, I've never seen evidence of that. Can you give me an example? And I'll go look with fresh eyes. I'll try to be fair-minded. I just generally at this point want to understand why is this guy such a big deal. I should mention before I forget, how this guy Destiny came on my radar was I know Phil Abate, who is the lead.
How does he have all the worst opinions? So Alex O'Connor, I don't agree with him because I'm a hardcore Christian. I'm assuming he's Christian. Maybe he's Muslim. Maybe he's something else. Okay. And then also I know this one awesome guy, Phil Labonte, who he's in a bit of a rough spot right now. His GoFundMe is halfway funded. He's trying to raise another $200,000 for the fucking aneurysm that he had when Destiny only shook his hand and said hi to him instead of engaging him in a 45-minute conversation when he was preparing for a Tim Pool show. So everybody go, shout out to the GoFundMe for him. Anyway, yeah, that guy's great, but this is the only way I even knew of Destiny. I wonder how he's going to summarize this situation. He's going to say, I only know of Destiny Phil Abate because Destiny was a rude piece of shit to him and then attacked him online for no reason.
I should mention before I forget, how this guy Destiny came on my radar was I know Phil Abate, who is the lead singer of the band All That Remains and who was a frequent commentator on Tim Pool's show. And then I believe one time Destiny was in studio because he was going to do Tim's show. And Phil went up to him to like shake his hand in the green room and introduce himself. And Destiny was like in the middle of somebody's on his phone doing something and kind of didn't welcome Phil's gesture with open arms, let's say. And then Phil later kind of mentioned it somewhere like, yeah, I didn't have a good interaction with Destiny, kind of blew me off or something like that. I mean, exact word. And then Destiny just was over the top drama queen king on Twitter, just a long thread about, I hate to be this guy, but I got to explain when you're the talent and you're in the green room, you might be doing something and you can't just be catering to fans who want to come up and take a selfie with you. I mean, those aren't his exact words, but that's how he was talking. And it was like, he was like explaining to Phil what a green room was and how talent might need to decompress or take care of some things before they go do the show. And like I said, Phil's a professional musician. Like, you should see him. He has.
Okay, you know what? I disagree with his opinion. I think I'm clearly within my rights to complain about it. But that was actually a good summary. I'll give him, not the best summary. Well, the best one I've heard. Not perfect, but close enough, I'll take it. At this point, if you can summarize the situation that I'm in without saying I raped somebody or killed somebody, you know what? You at least get a 5 out of 10 for me. So
crowds with lots of people packed in there going nuts when he goes out there and sings for them. So Phil is aware of what a green room is. All right. So anyway, it was just shocking to me. And then, like I said, once that guy was on my radar, I was going around looking, and I was like, why is Jordan Peterson talking to this guy? What the heck? So, okay. So that's where all this came from. I thought, all right, let me just try. And a bunch of my fans wanted me to go ahead and do this. So this particular exchange between, or debate between Destiny and Tom Wheelwright is on the economic agendas of Kamala Harris versus Trump. So this aired before the election. And they specifically were centering on tax policy. And I didn't pick this, just so you folks know. It's not like I went through 10 debates and Destiny was crushing people in 9, and then I picked this one where he had an off day, and that's what. No, I asked Destiny.
Just to be clear, because I am a drama queen, and I did take this way too seriously. Okay. This guy literally was so fucking ass pained by our exchange that he had to commission and bought a shirt.
These fans point me to a good example, and I'll go watch it because I want to see. It's why you keep telling me he's a good debater. Okay. And so they picked this one. And I said, I even clarified with the guy who recommended this one. I said, so you're saying this is a good example, like one of the better ones? He said, well, it's the most recent, as when I posted this, it's the most recent debate that Destiny's done. But yeah, it's a good example because it shows, well, the guy listed all the various reasons he thought Destiny did well in this debate. And if I wanted to see what his fans were talking about when they said what a good debater he was, that this was a good example. So, okay. So just to cut to the chase, as we'll see, he's did such a poor job that what I'm going to do with this episode, just as a service to the Infi listeners, is, yeah, I will do the official task of evaluating Destiny as a debater, quad debater, not in terms of do I agree with his policy positions or not. But then after we get done with that, I will spend the balance of the episode pontificating on some of the issues that were raised, just so you get, if nothing else, even if you don't care about this guy Destiny, and I don't see why you would, that you learn something from this, or at least maybe I clarify some things, because they're throwing around terms like supply side economics, where I realize maybe you've never had someone actually explain to you where that term come from. What does it mean? All right, so right now, if you were getting ready to click away, like, no, Bob, I want to go do something else besides listen to you critique the debating tactics and style of this guy, that won't be much more of this episode, but I did want to take some time on the front to explain why did I pick this particular debate as something that I was going to go through. So
Jesus Christ.
Why don't we go ahead, and I think I'm going to play a total of 5 clips just so you can pace yourself. So what I'll do is I'll get all the clips done, and I might intersperse some commentary along the way in terms of the debating evaluation. But then after, at the end, like I say, I will then kind of step back and do big picture economic pedagogy. How's that? Okay. So let me just mention, too, I want to be clear. My point in this is not to say, oh, wow, I disagree with Destiny's views. How the heck could he say he likes Kamala's economic? No, like, I did debate. I hope that doesn't surprise a lot of you. You may have thought I was the starting quarterback through high school and college, but actually I wasn't. I did things like speech and debate and so forth. So in those tournaments or whatever, like, you're given a resolution and you have to argue both sides of it. Okay, so the point is not, do you personally agree with this perspective? The point is, are you a good debater? And yeah, the kids that were good at debate could beat you on a given resolution arguing either side. So that shows whether you're a good debater or not. And so that's what we're evaluating. So I'm going to show you when I go through this. Again, when I say Destiny, I thought we did a terrible job as a debater in this particular exchange. I'm not saying because doesn't he know that plan will cause inflation? That's not the point. All right, I'm evaluating him purely if I were a judge trying to judge a debate, knowing that Destiny may have been assigned, okay, for this particular exchange, you, Destiny, now are assigned to get up there and defend Kamala as having the superior economic plan. Right, so you're going to watch and say, okay, he was forced to go up and give this defense, make this case. Let's see how he does. Right, that's the spirit in which I'm doing this. Okay.
I'll
start this first clip just from the beginning of the video.
Go ahead.
Because also I want you to see the host and how he introduces. So he's got the CPA for the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy, and he's got someone who was the OG video game streamer. And they're here to talk about tax policy. And listen to how the host introduces the two of them. And so I'm partly including that just so you understand why I'm thinking I'm in a Twilight Zone episode. Like, what's going on here? Okay, let's go ahead and play that.
Just as we get rolling, Destiny, this is Tom Wheelwright. He's the author of Tax-Free Wealth, sold over 400,000 copies of that book. Is probably known for one of the top CPAs and known for being one of those gurus. He's worked directly with Robert Kiyosaki. And
I'm so curious how he's going to shit on me. I feel like this is one of the best faith debates. This is like one of the only times, probably in the last 4 years, where I've gotten to have a conversation that is actually relatively in-depth on tax and finance. I enjoyed it a lot. Even though I super disagreed with this guy, I enjoyed the fact that he at least knew what the fuck anything having to do with finance is, which isn't even really an area I would consider myself super expertised on. But I'm just grateful for the fact that this guy even fucking knew anything about finance. So I'm curious how he's going to tear into this.
And has a franchise business. And, you've been doing this for only 45 years, Tom, just in this world. And obviously, Destiny, you don't need much of an intro. But you're a streamer, political commentator. You're a very good debater. And it's an honor that you would take time to be on here. And the purpose of this whole conversation is really to set the stage of like, okay, there's a lot of talking points, Trump versus Harris and pros and cons. We can talk about whatever we want tonight, but the main focus is going to be from an economic and tax side of the coin. Like, what are the thought process with that? Destiny, if you just want to start us off, you can give a brief intro if you want. I'm assuming most people know who you are, but kind of set the stage on the framework. If you had to like framework why Kamala Harris when it comes to the economy and when it comes to taxes.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so now you guys see why I'm so befuddled. Okay, let's now go into the first substantive clip here.
Befuddled because the guy, we're having an internet debate, so he's probably going to bring up and cite to like the internet credentials. That's not surprising at all, of course, right? Like it's not, like I guess he's upset because the guy didn't glaze the other dude hard enough, or he didn't present me like as humbly as he should have. But like we're in an internet forum. Like if we were being brought in somewhere else, then it might be a little bit different, but okay, whatever.
Where Destiny is going to lay out his views.
Yeah, so I think on a really macro perspective, I appreciate the Democrat view at the moment of the economy more than the Republican view of the economy. I feel like the Democrats have a bit more of a realistic understanding of how money works in an economy. And I feel like the Republicans have find a nicer word for delusional view of how money works. We can get as wide or as into the weeds as we want on that. On a wide view, it seems like Democrats understand that stimulating the demand side of things is incredibly important, that people need money, people need jobs, and that's as important as having suppliers that can produce goods and services for the economy. On the Republican side, I feel like we're still stuck in this weird like supply side econ world where we feel like just giving infinite tax cuts and spending infinitely with no concern for the budget while also saying we need to have zero debt seems to be the MO. On a finer resolution, a lot of the tax proposals that Trump has made are just kind of bizarre to me, and I don't think they would even save that much money for people. Like when we talk about, what was one? He said that you'd be able to like itemize your car loan interest. And it's like, I think at this point, it's like after the increase of the standard deduction from the initial Trump tax cuts, it's like 90% of Americans take the standard deduction. And even if you itemize, like realistically, how much interest per year are you paying on a car? And now that's like a tax, like it's just like this, we're saving like pennies or dollars. Like nobody that is qualifying for this deduction even cares about it. So yeah, I feel like on a very fine level, I feel like that the proposals from Trump are very kind of bizarre and weird and nonsensical. And then on a macro level, I just don't know what the vision for the economy is of the Conservative Party at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like that was okay. I think, yeah, okay.
All right, so at this point, I won't get bogged down in the commentary because I'll play the next clip and then finally get some genuine substance, but it's critical. Notice what Destiny said there, that the reason he doesn't like the Republicans is they just are still stuck on their same old of supply side economics, tax cuts for everybody to try to stimulate growth and whatever, and he doesn't buy it. Even on its own terms at this point, right? He stopped. It's not like he had a timer. The host gave him the floor, and that was Destiny's opening statement. So just as a judge evaluating in terms of, you've got two guys that were assigned these respective sides, let's say, even though in reality that's not what happened. Destiny's here presumably because he believes in this. But if you want to say Kamala Harris's economic plan is better than the Republicans, it's not enough to just say why you don't like the Republican plan. And by the way, he didn't really even give a critique.
Just to be clear, yeah, it would be actually. It actually would be. That if I had two doctors to choose from, and I knew that one doctor was like, whatever, he was okay, and the other doctor was like, whatever, but he'd also killed 10 patients, I can just say, I don't want the doctor that killed 10 patients. It's a choice between two people. You literally could legitimately just say, I don't want this guy, so the other person is whatever. Like, that's perfectly fine. I can make positive arguments for, I would say, democratic policies as well, but like, you literally don't need to give positives for your side if there are enough negatives on the other side, but.
He just kind of pointed out some concerns with it. You would think, just spitballing here, you might take two examples, one from what Kamala is going to do and one from what Trump is going to do, and then say why Kamala's is better than Trump's. To me, as a judge, that would make sense. That's the way you would go about saying Kamala's economic program is better than Trump's.
I actually agree with that. I think using examples is always good. I said we could get as macro or as narrow as we want. I wasn't sure for the background for this guy. I wasn't sure how much we'd be able to talk about. But yeah, giving examples is always good. It's a good point. I'll take it.
Is you would take one or more examples of the things they say they're going to do. You don't even have to do that. You
well,
can say,
let's see. On the Trump side, I said that the tax cuts were dumb and the goal for no debt was dumb. But I think I did give two negatives on the Trump side. I don't know if I gave any positives on the Kamala side. I don't know. So
Trump says he's going to do this, but really I think he's going to do this, and that's fine too. Just go explain your logic, okay? Because really what we care about is in reality which candidate will be better for the country's economy. Okay, you could do that too. But at the bare minimum, you've got to give me a case as to if Kamala wins, here's the economic policy or policies that would get implemented, and then versus Trump, and then here's why Kamala's policies would be better than Trump's. Notice he didn't say anything except.
Well, hold on. Fuck. I'm just trying to give this guy credit. I also said that Democrats understand. Well, I guess I didn't call out specifically like the American Rescue Plan or stuff like that. But I said that like Democrats seem to understand that like Americans need money and we have to spend as opposed to.
CPA is known for being one of those, but you're to be on his economic like framework.
Substantive clip here with
Democrat of how money moment of the
going to lay out his views.
Hold on. Yeah, so I think on a really macro perspective, I appreciate the Democrat view at the moment of the economy more than the Republican view of the economy. I feel like the Democrats have a bit more of a realistic understanding of how money works in an economy, and I feel like the Republicans have
find a nicer word for delusional view of how money works. We can get as I guess, as wide or as into the weeds as we want on that. On a wide view, it seems like Democrats understand that stimulating the demand side of things is incredibly important.
Stimulating the demand side of things. So things like economic stimulus. So things like the American Rescue Plan, other legislation that earmarked money for like huge investments. So like, I don't say this, I guess. I don't say the legislation, I guess. But
that people need money, people need jobs, and that's as important as having suppliers that can produce goods and services for the economy. On the Republican side, I feel like we're still stuck in this weird like supply side econ world where we feel like just giving infinite tax cuts and spending infinitely with no concern for the budget while also saying,
okay, these are two examples. They want to do lots of tax cuts. They want to keep spending, and they have no concern for it.
And we need to have zero debt. Seems to be the MO. On a finer resolution, a lot of the tax proposals that Trump has made are just kind of bizarre to me, and I don't think they would even save that much money for people. Like when we talk about...
I give an example, but okay, wait, never mind. Fuck this guy. Hold on. I think I give enough for an intro statement. I think I give enough specifics. I think it's
what was
fine.
one? He said that you'd be able to like itemize your car loan tax. It's like 90% of Americans take the standard deduction, and even if you itemize, what like is qualifying for this deduction even cares about it. So yeah, I feel like on a very fine level, I feel like that I
could have given a good suggestion from the Kamala side, but like I feel like
proposals from Trump are very kind of bizarre and weird and nonsensical. And then on a macro level, I just don't know what the vision for the economy is of the Conservative Party at the moment. Yeah.
All right. So
okay, never mind. I feel like that was fine, but
the things they say they're going to do, you don't have to. Because really what we care about is, in reality, which candidate will be better for the country's economy. Okay, you could do that too. But at the bare minimum, you've got to give me a case as to if Kamala wins, here's the economic policy or policies that would get implemented, and then versus Trump, and then here's why Kamala's policies would be better than Trump's. Notice he didn't say anything except the most fleeting, oh, the Democrats care about jobs. Well, right, but so do the Republicans. That's kind of what we're arguing about. It's almost as if he said, yeah, the Democrats at least care about a strong economy, whereas the Republicans are just stuck in the supply side voodoo. Okay, I'm done. Like, that's not an argument.
Well, we're damn, bro. This isn't like the like forum debate or the Johnson Williams style. I don't know what they call them. It's not. It's just opening statements.
Okay. So this next clip, the host saw what I saw and realized, Destiny, you didn't say anything about what you liked. All you said was why you didn't like the Republicans. So you also need to explain what do you like about Kamala Harris. So watch the host kind of, the guy that he earlier, thank you so much, master debater, for showing up. You could be out there, whatever, getting a Clarence Darrow Award, but instead you choose to humble yourself and come on my podcast. Thank you so much. And now here the host is going to have to say to him,
Jesus Christ, bro, chill. I think the guy was just happy because I have a much larger forum than he does. And most of the fucking pundit losers on the fucking internet would never waste their time, well, even watching, videos from smaller creators or going on shows with smaller creators. I think it's okay for him to be grateful for that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, can you maybe list an example of something you like in the Kamala Harris's plan? Because I think the host realized the only way this works is if you say what's good about her. Okay. In fairness to Destiny, that was kind of Kamala Harris's whole campaign, was just, I'm not Donald Trump. And then when pressed, and also I'm not Joe Biden. Okay, that was kind of her whole campaign. So again, in fairness to Destiny, I'm not sure what Kamala Harris's policy.
Nice. I'm glad that you're not interjecting with your own personal political views and you're only sticking to the substance of the debate and the rhetoric or whatever, like actually evaluating it. Thank you for that. I'm so glad. I don't want to inject politics into this. Nice.
Proposals were either. So maybe that's partly what's going on here. But as we'll see, I'm being a bit facetious. Once prompted, Destiny says, oh yeah, I can tell you what I like about the Democratic plan. So it's not that he was given an impossible position. It's that it didn't occur to him that, yeah, when I get the opening statement in a debate that you heard, folks, I'm not putting words in his mouth. It's not like Destiny showed up thinking he was just there to talk about whatever, like why Donald Trump's a racist or something. No, though. He's debating the guy who is the CPA for Robert Kiyosaki, the guy who was known as the tax planning guru for business innovation and job creation and blah, blah, blah. That was the whole point of this debate, was an economic agenda between the two candidates, or the two visions, whatever you want to call it. And so in his opening statement, when he had the floor, it didn't have a clock running down. It's not like, again, he mismanaged his time. He didn't even say anything about why he thought Kamala Harris's perspective was good. And so here now the host has to...
I understand. Maybe I could have done more background research. But to be clear, I went to this guy's YouTube channel because I was curious, okay, well, who is he? Who am I debating? And the only thing I saw was him giving a fake speech to an audience that wasn't real. That's all I saw. So I wasn't 100% sure, like with fake applause. This is all I saw on the guy.
Now, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, heart of Mormonism. And I spent, as a result, 2 years as a Mormon missionary knocking on doors of all places, Paris, France. Now, I was very successful as a Mormon missionary. In 2 years, I converted 2 people. So I got used to rejection. In fact, you could say that was really the start of my entrepreneurship training. Because if you can't handle rejection, you will never be successful as an entrepreneur.
Like this is, okay, so I mean, fuck me. But hey, this is the intro video to his channel. So I don't know what you want me to say. Jesus. Okay.
Pull teeth to get it out of him.
And then what would you say to Harris? Like what about her or what she's proposed or what Joe Biden's done for the last 3.5 years?
Colby Bell, I see you. Maybe after this video, I'll pull you up. Okay, hold on.
Have you liked from a standpoint of what they're proposing? Or do?
It's a little bit hard to compare, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm going to come off as very politically biased, but it's hard to compare right now because I feel like there's only one party that really talks much about policy right now. So it's hard to like compare, what could a world look like otherwise if policy debate was more what we did when it came to the economy. As far as saying good things, I think that we did do a good amount of stimulus for the economy. I know that people complain about inflation, but we were potentially facing, economic ruin. And I know that we are outperforming, the G7, I think the entire OECD when it comes to inflation in our economy. So despite how much of a problem people think inflation is, we're doing better than every other country. So I think the spending there was good. I think that allocating money for things like infrastructure, I'm glad that got passed. That's like a political and economic thing. As far as trying to take care of citizens that might have children, so things like the child tax credit, expanding that. I think that those types of income redistribution programs are good for people. I feel like in general, I'm not a big fan of the answer to everything is just plug in more money. So I'm a little critical of the $15,000 first time homebuyer tax credit. Obviously, that's going to be a big upward pressure on prices. I'm not a big fan of just money for everything, but I think things like the child tax credit and the expansion of it, I think these are worthwhile things. I think investment in infrastructure in the American economy, I think is good too. So yeah. Okay. So finally, at long last,
At long last? It was literally the first part of the debate. Jesus.
second time at the mic or having the floor.
His second time at the mic, at long last.
Destiny actually explains some of the things that he likes about the Democratic plan and what he doesn't like about the specifics of Trump. Now, even here, he doesn't give any argument. So he does get into a little bit about why Trump's plan isn't going to do anything. It's stupid on the margin. Okay, again, right now, I'm not even evaluating economics of it, whether that's true or not, in terms of, let me go fact check him and see how many people are electing to take the standard deduction. I'm like, okay, I'm not even getting into that. But at least he made an argument. But on the flip side, he listed a bunch of things he likes, but he didn't say why they're good. So if the debate is, back in college days when I'm on the debate circuit with the speech.
Stimulus was good because we were facing economic ruin. Am I supposed to say it's good if we're not economically ruinous? Or
debate team, and the resolution is resolved, the federal government should allow for more logging on government-owned timberland. All right, and then I'm assigned, yes, they should. I can't just get up there and say, I like more logging. Yeah, and the other side's going to say that they don't like more logging, but I don't think that's really, if you think about it, I don't really think there's a lot of people that feel that way, but I do like.
Destiny, a lot of my friends are ultra progressive to the point of justifying the CEO being killed, citing things like 90% AI error rate. Do you think I should try to argue against that? And if I don't, am I just as bad for not pushing against it? Bro, I don't know. Don't fight with your friends over politics. Just tell me you don't want to talk about it.
Logging. Okay. Would that count for anything? No. And then I was pressed. But what specifically do you like? Well, I like when the loggers cut down branches, and I like when they cut down trunks. Yeah, I like those two things. I think they're pretty. I mean, I don't want to go too extreme. I'm not going to cut down every tree in America, but cutting down some limbs and trunks, I think that's good. Yeah, I like that. That's what Destiny just did there. Except instead of limbs and trunks, plug in child tax credit or whatever the specifics were. Okay, so I'm not saying what he just said was wrong. I'm saying it couldn't even be wrong yet because he didn't say anything. He didn't make an argument. There's nothing to attack. It's like if he got there and said, I like vanilla ice cream. He's not wrong. You could say, no, chocolate's better, but he didn't say vanilla is better. If he says, I like vanilla ice cream, unless you know he's lying, he's not wrong, right? I'm trying to, maybe I'm beating this to death.
It feels like he's debating, or he's evaluating me based on a formal debate format where there are ways that you approach, is it Douglas Wilson? I don't know what the fuck these are called, but there are formal ways that you do structured debate or whatever, but I don't do these, and that wasn't the rules for this, so I don't know why.
But I'm just trying to point out here, I can't even get into and evaluate his debate performance because he didn't even take a stand yet. Okay.
So this is pretty much
the
question I have as it relates to okay, the liberal talking point versus maybe the conservative talking point comes down to, all right, should we give incentives to the consumer/worker or to the corporations, to the people, the small business owners? And Destiny, how do you go about framing that question and thought process? Because obviously that's really it's tax the rich. And again, sometimes I look at that as why are we taxing and trying to go after the people that are creating the jobs in the first place?
So I would say that if we look at George W. Bush's economic policy, or if we go kind of neoconservatism, and we look at their position on corporatism or immigration, we can have that conversation. But I don't agree right now that Republicans are trying to defend the supply side of the economy. One of the big concerns I think that people should have from a finance and economics point of view of the country right now is it used to be that you would have conservatives fighting on the supply side and you would have Democrats fighting on the demand side, and then hopefully we would settle out somewhere in the middle. But now we have just the Conservative Party from a financial point of view is wholly separated from reality. So I don't take very seriously the idea that the Conservative Party is concerned with the supply side when Donald Trump's talking about a 20% across the board tariff, which would just be an unmitigated disaster when it comes to supply. Or when we look at supplies, for instance, supply of labor, right? Labor is one of your most important productive inputs for your economy. And Trump is talking about deporting anywhere from 12 to 20 million people. When we talk about things like consumption versus supplying.
He's going to point out that he's contradicting his opening statement by saying the focus on supply side was bad, but now he's saying that Trump was bad for supply side, even though in my opening statement I literally said they say that they're for supply side, but then they do weird things like austerity plus infinite spending at the same time that are contradictory.
These are complicated affairs as well. So, for instance, a lot of people are under the incorrect assumption, the intuitive one, that having a very strong currency is good, for instance, right? I want the dollar to be strong. Having strong currency is very good when it comes to importing because I can buy a lot of stuff. Having strong currency is really rough when you're exporting because now our stuff is more expensive. And the USD has been gaining a lot of strength. Aren't we at like a 25-year high or something against the euro? So,
okay. Do you folks see what just happened there? By the way, I should be clear. I'm skipping over Tom. Tom Wheelwright was allowed to talk up to this point in the debate. I'm not including him. Tom did fine in terms of him trying to express his views or whatever, but for the purposes of what we're doing in this episode, there's no reason for me to waste time, including what he was saying. If you want to go watch the debate, obviously, there'll be a link in the show notes page here. You can go watch it. So you see what happened here? The host, again, thinking, I really want these guys to talk about the different visions of Republican versus Democrat or liberal versus conservative, whatever you want to label it, visions for the economic agenda and how the world works. Tom Wheelwright, you wouldn't know this because I'm not including this, but he was giving examples of why he thought, and Tom was talking about how the Democrats, they're focusing more on consumption and the Republicans their tax plan is more to give incentives to entrepreneurs, right? And his point was, in general, if a tax code is going to be designed to incentivize activities that we think are socially useful, it's better to give incentives to people who are going to go hire people and produce, or to give it, he thought, and how the world works. Tom Wheelwright, you wouldn't know this because I'm not including this, but he was giving examples of why he thought, and Tom was talking about how the Democrats, they're focusing more on consumption and the Republicans their tax plan is more to give incentives to entrepreneurs, right? And his point was, in general, if a tax code is going to be designed to incentivize activities that we think are socially useful, it's better to give incentives to people who are going to go hire people and produce stuff rather than to the people who are just going to go buy things. Okay. And at the tail end of this episode, I will, again, circle back and just talk more generally about this demand side versus supply side economic distinction.
Okay.
Okay. But for right now, just in terms of the debate, at this point, Destiny still there's been no clash. Wheelwright's sitting there doing his best to try to have a debate, and Destiny didn't even show up yet. And so now the host intervenes again and specifically says, okay, Destiny, what about this distinction between the supply side and the demand side? And you saw what Destiny's answer was. Well, yeah, I don't actually buy into that the Republicans are...
Okay. I'll do like 5 more minutes of this maybe. Hold on. I feel like I don't even know. I'm not even sure what this is. I don't even know what's happening right now.
Outing supply side economics. It's funny he says that because you know who I did recently hear, and when I say recently, I mean like within the last 10 minutes, say the Republicans were still advancing supply side, was Destiny in his opening statement. All right. So again, it's not just that he isn't saying anything. It's he's somehow managing to not say anything and contradict himself within the course of 10 minutes. So again, I'm at a loss as to why I should just be in awe of this guy's debating acumen. No, like it's common in these things. Like, he would fail Econ 101. He would get crushed if he was debating us back in college. There's kids, including me, who would have just obliterated him. I would have noted that. I would have pointed it out.
Oh, I get it. This guy actually did college debate, and he's super ass pained that everybody on the internet doesn't follow the same like strict fucking like rule set for whatever the fuck he used to do. Now I understand more.
The next time I had the opportunity to speak, he said in his opening statement that he was dismissing the Republicans is because they were still clinging to their failed delusional supply side economics. And here he just said he doesn't think the Republicans are touting supply side economics. So which is it? Right? Like I would have had a field day with that. All right. I'll play one more clip here for you folks, and then I will get into the actual substance. But again, the original purpose of me doing this was I thought I was going to go through and be evaluating this, Ali versus Foreman, and it's Ali versus George Foreman's towel boy or something. Okay, here we go.
I have a question for you, Destiny. So you don't see the 2017 Tax Act as a supply side tax proposal with all of the incentives, reducing the corporate tax rate from 35-21, which Kamala wants to increase to 28, reducing the tax on entrepreneurs by 20%.
So I guess I'm kind of curious because I don't know how this. I guess I haven't done research on this or whatever. But wouldn't if you cut the corporate tax rate, wouldn't that lead to a decrease in supply side production?
No, it always result in an increase because you have corporations aren't people, right? Corporations now have more money to reinvest into supply, basically reinvest into equipment, reinvest into innovation. That's where they have more money if they don't have such a high tax rate.
Well, isn't that not really true though? Like if I'm let's say that I own a business, right, and I'm looking for projects with a high NPV plus, right? I'm looking for a net present value plus project to invest in. Let's say that we live in a world hypothetically where the corporate tax rate is 99%. Okay, that means that if I have $1,000 in profit for my business, if I can invest in any project that just doesn't lose me 99% of my money, I'm basically like making money, right? Because the profit tax is so high that I'm encouraged to basically invest my money and to reinvest in my business no matter what. Whereas if the corporate tax rate comes down to 1%, well, that NPV plus project has to be pretty lucrative now because I can have absolutely no corporate taxes. I just have to pay my personal income tax on whatever gets withdrawn from my company. So I feel like I don't know if I agree, unless there's like some a plug in there that I'm missing, that like a high corporate tax rate, because it would only apply to profits, not revenue.
Okay, this is a little bit of a bait because I'm looking for him to have a more extensive conversation about this. The actual answer is that higher corporate tax rates would probably disincentivize the initial capitalization of any business because Why would you invest your money in a business knowing that in order to get any money out in the form of capital appreciation or dividends or profit, that it's going to be subject to a high capital tax rate? But I don't know if I would say it prevents reinvestment. I just don't think that that argument is correct. I think that high corporate tax rates can discourage investment, but it would be relating to things like capitalization, not just like reinvestment, I don't think.
Revenues, right? So why would that necessarily discourage reinvestment? If anything, I feel like it would encourage reinvestment because you'd be trying to avoid the tax rate there.
Okay. Again, let me do one last rhetorical. See what Dusty's? Yeah, I haven't really looked into this. The signature economic move of the first Trump administration was the big reduction in corporate income tax rates. I mean, it was tied to other things too, including expanding the standard deduction.
When I said I haven't looked into this, I mean, I don't know, like on a very specific, on a very like granular, okay, whatever.
That they talked about earlier that Destiny cited. Okay, that was the signature thing. And by the way, in case you don't know, it was a big deal that I was surprised by how aggressive and, quote, supply side oriented that plan was. Before that, it was like the U.S. had like the second highest corporate income tax rate in the world or something. All right. And plenty of progressive economists like Paul Krugman and friends at the time were flipping out and say this is just a huge tax giveaway to the rich. And okay, you would think if you're going to be talking about Donald Trump's economic agenda versus Kamala Harris's, it's specifically about tax policy, probably be.
Wait, did Krugman? Wait, is that true? I thought that everybody hates corporate taxes. I thought most economists just like think corporate taxes suck. Am I wrong on that? Fuck, what's the name of that? IGM, forum, opinion poll, corporate taxes. Why would they suck? Because you can just tax individuals. I don't know. Why the fuck would you tax a corporation? It just seems cringe. I don't know. I don't understand that at all. Do they not poll on this? Whatever. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me fight with this guy for a sec. What a sound. All right, Colby, what do you want? Okay, based. Colby.
Oh, hello? Destiny?
Hi, what do you want?
Hold on, I'm so sorry, man. Give me 1 second, you're not on the speaker. I cannot hear you for some reason. Here, I guess I can just hold you up to my ear. I'm on mobile. Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. What's up? What do you want?
So, I was watching some of your videos from the other night. I saw it on last night on Destiny, really. But basically, you were talking about healthcare, and I had a couple of things I pretty big disagreed with you on. First off, big fan. But yeah, some of the things you were saying was like, healthcare isn't inelastic, and I would kind of disagree with that pretty massively. The example that you used was you talked about your own Vyvanse, how that you needed your Vyvanse, but you could also survive without it. But I would say that's like pretty different from like a diabetic, for example, which like 11.5% of Americans are. I just don't think that like we can still be capitalist without necessarily feeling the need to not support social healthcare. And like social healthcare isn't like socialism, like you were saying inside the video the other night, or the stream.
I don't know where that last part came from. I don't know who has ever said that on my stream.
You were saying that you were a capitalist, will never be social. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm not a socialist. You said that diabetics are 11% of the American population. Doesn't that further my point?
I mean, not really. You're saying that, like, inside your system, those people should just have to pay because they're not the average person. I'm saying that those people should be protected.
Wait. I never said that. I just said that in general, I think that like some pricing can discourage consumption of like medical stuff, that it can be relatively elastic. It probably depends on the type of medicine that you're consuming, I'm sure. Like if you're having a heart attack, I'm sure you would take out whatever you need to, but especially for like preventative medicine and stuff like that, I imagine that the demand for this is probably relatively elastic. That's why people go so long between like eye appointments or dental appointments or whatever.
Fair. I mean, also rescheduling on those like specialists though is like, this is a super big anecdote. I don't know how many statistics would exist for this, but like I've had to go to hand specialist and burn specialist. Those appointments take forever to try and get through. I mean, like I think I got rescheduled for like up to 3 to 4 weeks on a single one of my burn appointments when I had a 3rd degree burn. And the medication's super expensive. The burn creams and everything you get, it's all super expensive. And I mean, obviously healthcare and insurance are like a separate conversation to some degree. But yeah, I mean, I think that's why people are mad, is just because, you know, they're so tied together. Healthcare feels incredibly important to people, and people without access feel like they're getting gypped by the insurance companies that are essentially standing around and denying a lot of claims.
Are these doctors just like sitting by idly, not doing anything?
I mean, no, obviously not. No one's saying that.
Well,
but
wait,
like,
that's when you're saying that they're denying claims like arbitrarily, like what? Like there's all this stuff that's just waiting around to be used, but nobody's using it?
I mean, arguably, yeah, there would be like some of the medical procedures done would not be done. So like, for example, like there might be better versions of cancer screening that either your insurance doesn't want to cover because like you're high risk, for example. I think that'd be a really good example of what I'm talking about.
Wait, but that's supposed to be on my side or on your side?
It's on my side. Let's say that there's a cancer patient that is like, hey, I need this treatment, but the insurance company is like, hey, you're high risk, so we're probably not going to cover it for you. They're essentially killing that person.
Wait, high risk for what?
And also, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
When you say high risk, what do you mean by that?
High risk would be like if a person's very likely to die.
Oh,
so
sure.
I think there's like certain things that they would not do on a person that's more likely to die, like super, super expensive procedures that are like, you know, like maybe not with the highest chance of success rate.
Sure, but I mean, like that would be the exact same, like that would be just as true under like a socialized healthcare, right?
Yeah, but I feel like it's better because it's not leaving anyone behind. Like there's just certain people that underneath the capitalist healthcare system, they're just kind of, you know, sore out of luck. If you can't afford
but I'm just saying that for that particular circumstance, like that would probably be the exact same under like a socialized system as well. So for those people,
I mean, yeah, there would probably be some people that do not get the treatment that could be the most effective. I will agree to that. Do you also agree that there's people that are left behind by our current by our current healthcare system?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, what should we do about that? Obviously, that a public option isn't going to solve all of it. I don't think that, like, I think we can still be capitalist. And
wait, why
all
would a
of us
public
can
option? What do you mean by solve all? I mean, a public option would be a significant upgrade from where we're at now, right?
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, 100%. But it's not an all fixing problem. There would still be people that either couldn't afford the public option to begin with, you might want to look this number up. I could be wrong. I said something earlier about preventable deaths in America, and I decided to just look up how many people have died due to lack of healthcare. And it's not as many.
I'm not even trying to be facetious, and I might be a total idiot. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Aren't public options supposed to be like almost free or like incredibly cheap? Or I thought.
Yeah, they're super, super cheap. I don't think they're free though. Like I don't even think that Canada's public option is free. I could be totally wrong though. I don't know anything about Canada's politics.
Okay, I mean, I guess like if you couldn't afford like I guess the public option, I mean, if I'm advocating for a public option,
why does a homeless person gotta die? Because they have like some like illness that we could treat for, but they just don't have the money. Like we're liberals. Like let's go and help these people that are less. They don't have as many advantages as everyone else. It doesn't mean that they should just die. Like that's the whole idea of our party.
What do you mean by just die? I mean, like if they're having like a life a life-threatening condition.
I mean, life-threatening thing. Sure, they can go in and like get help, but then they're gonna have medical debt, which makes their life even worse afterwards. Like 50% of Americans have medical debt, and I said this earlier. It's the second most common way to get bankruptcy.
And I don't know if I agree. But what does 50% of Americans have medical debt mean? What does that mean?
It means that 50% of American adults have medical debt of some kind. It means they have like an outstanding medical bill that they have to pay.
Let's say that I have like outstanding credit card debt of like $5,000 and I've bought in like Advil once. Do I now have outstanding medical debt forever or until I pay off my credit card or what?
I do think that they're very different. I do think that medical expenses are considered their own thing, but I could be totally wrong. I mean, that's a pretty valid point. I won't lie. But I mean, I hope you can also see mine, where I'm essentially saying that I feel like under the capitalist system, we're leaving certain people behind. It's like 24,000 people that die every single year due to preventable illness. And I don't think that's the system that we should be championing. I agree with you that we should be shaming people that are...
I never said that that's the system we should be championing. Do you think I want people to die from preventable illnesses?
No, of course not. No. I'm not. I just mean that you more or less agree with the current system. You would just prefer that a public option was added.
I don't know if I say I would agree with the current system. I don't think I've ever in my entire, well, maybe 20 years ago, I think I've always said that I'm in favor of at least a public option.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm saying that a public option might not be enough for everyone. I would rather have a system that I think that medicine should be essentially free. And
that's fine if you think that, but we're not even close to that. But like a public option would probably be on the way there, right? Like the ACA was on the way to, the ACA is probably on the way to a public option if we ever get one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with everything you say about getting us more and more left. I mean, yeah, I think we should have a public option, but I also think that Medicare should be essentially free to some extent. I don't think that we should be profiting off the sickness of others. You can disagree with me, but I think that's bad underneath the capitalist system.
Wait, why would it be bad to profit? Wait, what is inherently bad about profiting off of that?
Profiting off the sickness and death of others?
Yeah, do you think that people that work in like mortuaries or whatever, or
I knew you were
going
to say that, bro. Please don't do that. Really? I mean, like, okay, no, I would not say that that's a very different thing. I think it's very different if I'm like, hey, man, I'm holding the power cord to your life. Give me $100 a day or I'm going to unplug it. Versus like, I don't know, like the housing market being like, oh, we might make some people's life slightly more difficult by increasing rent. That is a completely different thing. Someone that's trapped inside a hospital with like $50,000 worth of debt feels that crushingness on their like entire soul. I think that's like a real thing that you need to think about.
What, are you from America or Canada?
Oh, I'm from America.
Okay, I feel like there's like a lot of things. I don't know, like what do we, like should housing not be monetized since if somebody's pulling the plug on you leaving a house, that would be bad?
No, housing, I think that's fine. I just think that capitalism should have its
What about like food?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there should be a very good argument that the government should be able to give out some free food to people.
Well, the government does give out some free food to people, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, certain things like soup kitchens that get government funding, but
like
I don't
SNAP benefits and food stamps. Aren't these some of like the largest government?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
You're 100%
okay. So like,
right.
so why?
But,
wait,
I mean,
so why is medicine like so exceptionally special and protected from all these other categories? Why is this such a different thing?
I would say that food stamps do not complete. That's a good point. I do understand what you're saying. You're saying that government subsidies do exist inside these areas. I would just argue with food stamps, you can essentially go in on money that is not your own and be able to get everything you need. I would say on government healthcare, you're not able to get everything you need inside a lot of cases. Well,
to be clear, for food stamps, you don't get the best. You just get whatever the fuck you can afford, right?
Yeah, but you get what you need. I'm saying that, and there's a lot of cases. Again, 24,000 Americans.
Well, hold on. It depends on what you mean. What do you need? What does a diabetic need? A diabetic doesn't need insulin, right?
Oh, yeah, they do, man. They die otherwise.
Not immediately. It just takes a while, but they will die
eventually. 4 days, they could have awful permanent side effects, brother. That's why people start losing limbs, especially depending on your age.
4 days? I don't think you die. I don't think you get diabetic neuropathy in 4 days.
No, but you can get permanent things. Even being inside a permanent state of hypoglycemia or hyperglycemia is incredibly bad for you in the long term.
Of course, in the long term, yes. But like, I mean, when you talk about like, what do you need? I think that one of the issues is people think like what you need is the best and latest and most whatever of a thing. But that's not true. There's a whole sliding scale of what a person might need or want, right?
I am myself am not saying that. I am not saying that I think the homeless person deserves the most cutting-edge cancer technology. I am saying that they are entitled to some amount of help, and they should not have medical debt afterwards.
Okay, sure. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but then the question becomes like, well, who pays for it, right?
I mean, obviously we do as the taxpayers, but I think that's like a sort of thing that like I would.
So are we ready to like up the taxes?
I'm so sorry, bro. I'm at my job, man. Give me just 1 second, bro. I'm so sorry. Hey, how are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Party that we just.
We want to find
something funny
and awesome.
Yeah, perfect. $50 hilarious.
That would actually be great. This is only $30 as well.
That's hilarious.
We got a brown elephant. What else we got?
Ooh, you know what else would be good? Stash cans, man. Stash cans would be hilarious. A lot of those, like that bleach, that's actually. Boom. It's.
Why don't you want to hear a sales ruse? Because I don't want him to accidentally dox his fucking place of work or whatever.
9.
I think stash cans.
And you guys are all good.
A lot better than a handle of fire.
Yeah, no joke. More unique. No problem, guys.
So does it need to be brown?
There you go, man. Y'all be safe.
Well, we're out.
Hey, buddy, I'm back now. I'm super sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know 100% what we like disagree on.
See, that's what I'm. Okay, so my thing is, I thought that this. I've even been saying this inside some of your comments. I thought that you were really for like you're a sock dim more or less, right?
Yeah, like I'm in favor of like a public option, probably single payer. Just depends on what it looks like. But yeah, I'm not opposed to any of these things. I think it would probably be an improvement over what we have now. But I just think what?
Would you be okay with just Medicare for all, healthcare for all, just flatly?
There are going to be issues that I disagree with in the fine point. Like I think that copays.
But you can agree that it's probably better, right?
I think that like copays and deductibles are probably good things. They should just be scaled accordingly. They shouldn't be like preventing somebody from seeking care that would be beneficial, but just enough to like deter people from overutilization. But I mean, in the aggregate, yeah, I would be in favor of something like that for sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was my big disagreement. I thought you were. That might have been me more or less misinterpreting some of the things you said. We might have some very, very small disagreements on some of the finites. I also really disagree with you, or not disagree. I really agree with you on the whole CEO thing. I think it is crazy how regularly we get into just like championing the worst people. But
like Luigi.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think anybody was championing the healthcare CEO. I'm not championing the healthcare CEO.
No. I mean that people were championing the shooter. I was saying I agree with your take on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah, it sounds like we do agree. I mean, if you're for, trying to push for more, policies like healthcare for all, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's what everyone should be pushing for. I just thought, again, you were saying that, like, it seems like our healthcare system is really good and that most generally everyone is very happy with it. I would say that like 33% of people being very unhappy with the system is probably not a very good metric.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's just the problem is when people get fixated on like one thing, it inhibits our ability to have like productive conversations about improving things. Like I don't think health insurance even makes up like a quarter of the totality of the issues that we have with our current healthcare system. I think there's a ton of expenses like up and down the whole line that have to be addressed, and then people fixate on one thing, and nothing will come from this. Like nothing will change or improve from our healthcare system in the next few years because of this. Nothing will, and all this energy is just wasted.
Agree.
But okay.
It's almost even like you just replace one figurehead with another. But hey, I don't want to take up too much more of your stream's time. Thank you so much for having me in.
All right, be careful, buddy.
Yeah, man. Love you too, man. Be safe.
Bye. All right, well, what a great debate today. All of you guys has been fun. We're Oh, connections? Fuck it. Why does Destiny disavow the CEO shooter, but not the Trump shooter who missed and died an incel? I think that if you're if you are hardcore supportive and attending extremist rallies from an authoritarian dictator, I just don't have very much sympathy for a person who gets blown up in an event like that. I don't care much about it. It's on you, Chief. Killing somebody just because they're a CEO, I think is cringe, though. Now, if that guy was like the CEO of putting on Trump rallies, well, maybe I'd feel differently about it. Whale cocktail finance question statement solution grown wine tech command compound crypto moan pharma exclamation and mixture. This is a bait thing, isn't it? Like areas you can study or invest in or something like tech, pharma, finance. No, this is stupid. That's a bait. This is like computer coding shit? Like a solution, a statement, a command, no. Wait, chemistry stuff? Solution, compound, mixture. Cocktail? Different mixes of things? Concoction, okay. Like things you can say, like a statement, a command, an exclamation, a question. Types of sentences. Okay. Finance, crypto, tech, pharma. What is moan? Groan. Moan. No. Pharma. This is kinds of bros. Are there pharma bros? I feel like that was just the one name given to Martin Shkreli, who was like hated for this. It was like an ironic name, like the pharma bro. Okay, crypto bro. He's a finance bro, a tech bro. Okay, whatever. What is this? Wine, grown, whale, and moan? This is going to be mega stupid. Complaint? Homophones. Oh my God. Oh no. Fuck, I didn't mean to click that. You're groaning, you're moaning. I don't even know what this word is. Like he's has he mowned the yard? It was mowned yesterday, it was mowed yesterday, mowed. And then your wail and agony, whining. Jesus Christ. Okay, have fun, don't die, be careful.